Meeting to order. On the roll call, please.
Commissioner Gandy?
Here.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Here.
Commissioner Butcher?
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
And Mayor Gomez.
Here. Commissioner Butcher will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you for this past holiday, and Lord, thank you for the upcoming holiday that's about to come. Lord, bless all those people that are sick and not able to take care of themselves. Bless our troops that are in harm's way and keep them safe. Lord, bless this commission and their families. They can all grow old together. And Lord, just bless this meeting as it goes on and help us make the right decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, to see a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner. And welcome all the thousands of viewers that are watching us online right now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Seriously. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion to consider the regular meeting minutes of November 13th, 2017?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go on into commissioners and staff report, starting with Mr. Wyatt Duncan himself.
Mayor and co-commissioners, just like to give you a report on the Polk Street project.
Please.
9 o'clock this morning, they did pour more curbing and gutter. They're in the process of removing some of the driveways to get the grades that we need, and moving 6 foot up into the current driveways and replacing that to get the new ADA transitions and the slopes that we need for the grading. But after the concrete is done, they will pour the valley gutter down the center and start working on the asphalt replacement.
Are they on schedule, would you say?
Yes, I would say they're on schedule with the concrete work. Once the concrete, they want to stay steady on the concrete work, and once that's done, the rest of the project will move along steady.
All right, very good. Thank you. Any questions about that or from the commission? All right. Anything else, Mr. Duncan?
Once the concrete, where I was just informed, once the concrete crew is done with Polk Street, they are going to progress to 17th Street to start with that project.
When do they anticipate that happening?
I would possibly the next couple of weeks, with the estimate of the driveways, replacing the driveways, the rest of the valley gutter ramps and everything else. So,
any issues with the residents there that you know of?
We worked with a lot of the residents with the driveways and getting them the access they need and everything, but most of the ones there, the residents there, are just happy that it's getting completed.
Right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Anything else?
No, sir.
What? Okay. Mr. Chapman.
Mayor, Commission, and your Commission and Mayor. The one thing I'm very happy to report is that we're starting to get up to speed with our Encode software. I'm definitely enjoying the fact that several of the reports that I need are coming out clear and making sense. We're clearly making some progress related to our payables and learning some more nuanced things related to that. And we just finished our first official payroll in our Encode software today. So I'm very thankful for that. In addition to this, we have a meeting that, of course, we'd like you to attend, an exit interview with our auditors. And I was just looking at my calendar. I'd forgotten the date. Do you remember?
December 12th.
December what?
December 12th at 1 o'clock.
December 12th at 1 o'clock. You can only have 2 commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Did you make that clear? You can only have 2 commissioners. To my understanding, yes.
I saw everybody's pen moving, I just said, wait, we can only have two.
Oh, we expect the mayor to attend.
Who's moved the fastest? Okay,
But that's all I have to report for now.
okay, all right, thank you. Is everybody getting paid on time?
To my knowledge, everything's gone well, yes.
So if they don't, we'll know who to come to, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, Gary. Brianna? Anything to report?
No, no comment.
No comment?
No.
Are you pleading the fifth? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. Miss Juarez, anything to? Okay, you plead the fifth also?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Sanchez.
Don't forget the our Christmas annual party on December 1st. Just reminding everyone.
Very good. All right. And they will have refreshments there, right?
I hope so.
All right, very good. Commissioner Butcher.
I guess I can address this to Wyatt. You know, out here at the old cheese plant, you know, that dairy, or DFA that's by it, those people that purchased it, now is that wash bay there, or is that all tied back into the city sewer, or where are they draining that to?
Not the, I believe into the city sewer. I know there's, the sewer line does extend all the way out, and the last manhole is around the corner on Gilmore, and from there we extended, or actually the contractor, all the way out to the, what was the? Man camp that was far out, probably about 2 miles or a mile down the road. It did extend it over and dump into that, but we do have a lift station that's currently there. But I can get with the wastewater department, but I believe they do wash into.
I was just kind of curious about that, you know, if they, you know, chemicals, because that, I don't really know what they have in those, I guess it's just milk, but.
I can definitely look into this.
Okay, if you would, thank you.
May I get clarification
Oh,
on
you was, what you hear,
where are you talking about?
out on the highway, I call it DFA,
Little cheese plant?
yeah, the old cheese plant, but then there's the trucking company right next to it. It's,
Oh, the WDT.
WDT,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I was confused there.
I don't know why I call it DFA.
All right. Anything else, Commissioner?
No, sir.
I don't have anything to report or comment on.
No,
Commissioner Uriel? No, sir. Commissioner Gandy?
No, sir. You know.
Chief Rodriguez?
Just a reminder of the Christmas parade on December 7th. At 7 o'clock.
Okay. What time does that start and what's the route?
7 starts on 11, heads south, to Avenue High, and then turns in front of the Good Sam.
Okay.
And then it goes back north on 17th, down Avenue D, and back on Main. Long route.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Chief Lizardo?
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay. I wanted to thank you because the robotic program, the kids from school advised that you mentored them into building or how to help them with a robot to extinguish fires and enter buildings and so forth. And they did really, really well with that program. So I wanted to commend you on assisting those kids.
Thank you, sir.
They really they spoke highly of you and the department. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. James.
Yes, sir. Mayor and Commissioners, as Commissioner Sanchez has brought up, we have our City Employee Awards Banquet this Friday, the Youth Center at 6 p.m. Also on this Saturday, December 2nd, there is the Santa Fun Run out at Chaparral Park. Starts at 8 o'clock. We also have next week, December 6th, the Chamber of Commerce at EDC and Main Street are having an open house from 3 to 6, correct? 3 to 6. You have that invite, so please feel free to stop on by. And they had their disc golf tournament on November 18th, and all of the reports that I received, it went very well. All of the players were impressed with our course. We are working on right now, Star is working on coordinating to do the official ribbon cutting. We'll have a date to you guys just as soon as possible for that. So went good, very good. I also have wanted to provide you a quick update on the efforts of planning and zoning in regards to the non-conforming structures. I provided you a copy of a potential draft of an ordinance that may eventually make it to the City Commission. But just wanted to kind of update you on those efforts after the joint session that we had on October 10th. So they identified 3 things that they really wanted to change in this, with the first item being modifying the Zone A requirement to eliminate attaching it to a permanent the requirement to attach it to a permanent building, and also making sure it matched the construction style and materials. Also, implementation of a conditional approval for non-conforming structures and a process for approval. So I know it's a lot to digest, and we are not even ready yet to provide you any type of a recommendation. We do have a planning and zoning meeting that is on December 12th, which this will be discussed at again. We are going to clean up kind of the section for planning and zoning to clearly identify what the responsibilities of planning and zoning are actually, why it exists, and also the ability for them to act on certain things. Right now, it's a recommendation that they provide to City Commission. With the concept with the non-conforming structures that they're looking at is to actually utilize them to approve or deny the request to allow non-conforming structure or use, and use the City Commission as a means of appeals, whether the property owner is not satisfied with it or even if neighbors aren't satisfied with the findings of the Commission. In section 17.2, this is where it requires the attachment of a carport in Zone A, and also conforming to the design. It removes this requirement from that, and that will actually eliminate probably 75 to 80% of the problem that we have with non-conformance of different carports or structures. In this particular case, carports. That would be one of those items that they feel that if neighbors don't like it, that would be an issue to take up with restrictive covenants and homeowners associations. We also identified with non-conformance, talking about if you do have a non-conforming structure that you can alter, modify, or enlarge it at any time, and then if it's damaged and the replacement cost is greater than 50% of its value at the time of replacement, you have to build it or restore it back to where it actually conforms with the present code. We have special use permits that already existed, but this section, it allows for to expand the language for uses that are not particularly listed. And this is actually a process that still uses a City Commission for the final say. But also it identifies the different findings for approval of a special permit. This is essentially what is written down in that potential draft, where it needs to conform with our comprehensive plan. It's not going to have an adverse effect on the neighborhood quality of life, won't create a hazard or nuisance, not create excessive noise, not contrary to public interest. And then also, if it is approved, any special conditions that are tied to that approval they have to conform with. And it's not, and a special permit or special use permit, it's not transferable. So say for instance, if you lived in Zone A and you wanted to open up a single chair barber shop in your garage, and you get a special use permit for it, well then later you decide to sell the house, that special use permit goes away. If the new owner wants to do that, they have to go back through that special use process. It also has a fee that's established, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail here in a few moments, but the special use permit, it does go through P&Z for a recommendation, but then it goes to the City Commission for approval. This is different than a non-conforming structure. And then if it is approved, it has to be displayed in a public location. I guess the meat of the document that where the biggest changes are coming from is to address the issue of non-conformance. So this would apply to all structures that were built or installed prior to the February 13th of 2014. They can remain in place as long as it doesn't constitute a threat to health or safety. It's not a negative impact on quality of life or economic conditions, and it falls within the setback requirements of the zone. So if it doesn't meet B or C, then they would apply for special or conditional approval. So they would have to fill, the process would be they would have to fill out our application, and then it would go to the City Planning and Zoning Commission at that point. And I believe there's a minimum requirement of 3 weeks. It has to be submitted, and we only meet once a month. There is we recommended $150 filing and processing fee for the special or the conditional use permit. And how that's broken down is that, one, this would be a document, if it is approved, it would be filed at the courthouse, and that's a $25 filing fee. Then we also, just like much a variance or a zoning change, we send certified letters to everybody who owns the owner of record within 100 feet of that property. We average about 14, and it costs us about $8 a letter by the time you figure out the materials, postage, and all that. Then we also have to advertise. There's various things that go into this to recoup those costs. So $150 is what we determined would be the cost. Not that the city is actually going to make anything off of it. This is just to recoup those costs to where we're having to go above and beyond what is normal. You'd have to post a request on the site of the property. It gets mailed out 15 days prior to the public hearing, and P&Z conducts that public hearing. It would be a regular meeting. It wouldn't be a special meeting. So if it's granted, document's going to be prepared where it gets filed at the courthouse. However, if it's addressing a specific setback issue, it will have language in there that at any time that the city has to go in there and let's say, we're rebuilding the road, we're installing sidewalks, we have to replace utilities, and that property or that structure is adjacent to it, or if even one of the franchise holders has to go in and make those improvements. At that time, at the owner's own expense, they have to either bring that structure into conformance with setbacks, or they have to take it down at their own expense. It is one thing that we did discuss at the last planning and zoning meeting is would this conditional approval, would that be transferable? Let's say, we had this non-conforming structure on this property and I sold it, and the new owner bought it because it had that particular structure. And so the general consensus of the group was to add language in there to allow for that. However, though that binding requirement as far as setback conformance, it does still apply. If they don't comply with it, the non-conforming approval would be revoked. The structure will be removed, and all of the expenses associated be billed to the owner. If they fail to pay, then we can file a lien on that property and go through the lien process. If it's not granted, they can appeal to the city commission. And then also, if there's anybody who's not in agreement with it, they can also request an appeal to the city commission as well. There is a violation clause in there. It does not include a jail penalty. It is just a monetary penalty. That's all I have to bring you guys up to speed. If you have any suggestions or if this is the direction that you would like the city to go, that way we're not wasting some time. If we bring you a document that's not quite ready, we want to be very careful and make sure that the final document is the direction that the commission would like to see us go, so that way when we begin the expensive publication and notification process, we don't have to repeat it because we want to change something after it's already been advertised.
Floor is open to my colleagues.
I like to review it, and then I'll see you guys at your next meeting.
Yeah, I'll have to review it too. I was just thinking about some stuff on it.
But it seems like we're going in the right direction. So that's positive.
I've got a question, but it's probably not concerning this particular item, but I was kind of wondering, how are we doing on our condemnation? Those properties we have come here.
Mayor, Commissioners, we're still moving forward with that. We're having to do some title searches on those properties. In addition, owners of record have contact the code enforcement and are working on that and cleaning up those properties. I believe we've only got 2 that are actually moving forward with the full condemnation, but we're going through the title search to make sure that a step is not skipped.
James, coming back to this topic here, we did get a lot of input from the citizens through planning and zoning meetings and so forth. Is that correct?
Mayor Commissioners, we've had several meetings. Public notice has been issued. I think we had five individuals from the public attend 1 meeting. At our last meeting, I believe we had 1 interested party.
Okay, all right. I like the direction that it's moving. I'm sure it can be tweaked a little bit, but overall, I think it's a good idea. So we'll continue on, and we always seek input from the public as you know, with anything else. So feel free to contact your commission or commissioner or James or the Planning and Zoning Board. Please attend the meetings. Okay. Thank you, James.
Thank you,
sir. Speaking of citizens, I was approached and asked by a couple regarding the Department of Transportation project on Main Street. Any idea when the next meeting will be for that? James, have you heard anything?
No, sir. I have not heard when the next meeting will be.
All right, very good. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Anything else, James?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Patrick?
Nothing here.
Where's the wisdom?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Still is a win.
They did.
Amazing.
Right.
4 seconds.
All right, we'll go on into public comment. Anybody that wishes to address the commission may do so at this time. If you'll keep your comments to about 3 minutes, identify yourself and approach the podium. We have 1.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just wanted to remind everyone that we have cookies and cocos with Santa at the Lister building, and that'll go on before and after the parade. We will also have performances from some of the ballet classes, the step team, and then the guitarist from the high school, and the honor choir. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then we also have our open house coming up, which will be us, the Chamber, and EDC on December 6th, 3 to 7. So.
Thank you, Ms. Mara Salcido Alcantara. Anybody else? Oh, you gotta be quicker out here.
Evelyn Holguin with the Lovington EDC. Some of you have seen some invitations go out through email. I've been working with Commissioner Trujillo on putting together a Christmas social this year. What we're trying to do is to invite every single board that has something to do with Lovington, with the quality of life of Lovington. We are inviting the boards so everyone can mingle together, give each other some ideas and ways we can move our community forward. He is offering his beautiful home. It is going to be on December the 8th at 6 p.m. at his home. Everyone that sits on a board, planning and zoning, Parks and Rec, the commission, youth boards, chamber board, EDC board, anything that has to do for the betterment of Lovington is cordially invited on Friday, December the 8th at Commissioner Trujillo's home. You're welcome to bring your spouse. You're welcome to bring a dish or your favorite dish, your favorite beverage to share with everyone there. It's open, I can't say to the public, but everyone that sits on a board that has something to do with the betterment of Lovington.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for doing that for us. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Crystal with Planning and Zoning. I just had on the disc golf tournament, there was 86 players registered to play in the tournament, and actually one of our firefighters, Luis Gomez, won first place in the open class. And we had several other placers down lower. In the intermediate class, we had first and second place be Lovington residents. It was Talon Williams and Rudy Rubio. And in the recreational class, my grandson actually won second place.
All right.
So it was good. It was a really good turnout.
Let me ask you, how was the course overall?
Everybody who played it loved it. They did say we're losing some discs, but that is water hazard, and so if anybody wants to go out there and boat around and kind of fish up some discs, it would be nice. But no, everybody really enjoyed the course, so we got a lot of great input from it. They really enjoyed it.
Good, good.
Yeah, I drove around there and looked at it. It looked real sharp. I like them real bright, the baskets and everything.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
To add to it, the golfers said that they liked our course looking so nice, that all the pretty blue baskets, it was by the play equipment, it looked nice and sweet, but it was very hard. So it threw them off. We have a lot of really strategic holes, or you go in the water. So they thought that was nice, that our course looked so pretty and sweet, but it was very hard and challenging.
All right. Seeing as how many we lose in the water, I think I might start selling some of those. No, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? All right, we'll go ahead and go on into non-action items. James?
We have nothing, so.
Nothing there? Okay, we're going to action items. Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to consider resolution 2017-127, election resolution.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Sanchez. James? Or, I'm sorry, Ms. Juarez.
So this is our election resolution. On it, it just has specific dates for voting, for absentee, early voting, and such, the date to declare your candidacy, and the date of the election. And it just gives a description of where the layout of the districts. So.
The layout of the what, I'm sorry?
The district.
Okay, very good. Any changes from the previous years?
Yes, we had to update our District 1 and District 4. Other than that, just dates.
What was the update? Updates? What were they?
The area where
Okay.
we annexed.
Okay.
Those were the changes.
All right, very good. All right, any other questions, comments about the commission? Yes, sir.
Who's up for re-election?
We have District 3 and District 5.
3 and 5.
Yes. And our judge.
And judge. Yeah, judge county. Oh, this county. Judge county.
Yes.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ms. Juarez. All right, any further discussion? Commissioner? Okay. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
Make
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for consideration of resolution 2017-128, approval of 2016 general obligation bond grant agreement to purchase and equip an ADA accessible vehicle for the Bill McKibben Senior Citizen Center.
second.
We have a second. Mr. Williams.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, we received a appropriation from the state through a general obligation bond to purchase a ADA accessible van for a senior citizen center. The grant will provide $35,000 in funding. This is budgeted. We budgeted an additional $17,000 to accommodate for the wheelchair lift. The project will actually be purchased through state price agreement. We are also going to be looking at the vehicles that we have over at the Senior Citizen Center and paring those down because we have some that we can move out of service or potentially transfer to another department.
All right.
How's Tatum looking? Do you think they may use one of our old vans or something? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioner, we were going to look at that as a potential option as well.
Yeah, I think they're looking at Tatum. I know they, when I visited them a while back, they were having some, they were needing some couple of pieces of equipment. Maybe we can help them out in that means, if it is available.
All right, very good. Any other questions or comments?
I've got.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Could they, one of those vans that we have, the seniors already, could a lift be put on them or not?
Mayor and Commissioners, no, they can't. The only one that we have with a lift is the big, kind of like the airport shuttle van. That's the only one that can house that lift. This new vehicle, more than likely, would be like a Ford Transit, something large.
Thank you, James. Anything else from the commission? All right. There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
I'd like to make a motion. Yeah, consider resolution 2017-129, appointments to the local EDC commission. Sure, are the people that's there right now, are they willing to retain their spots?
Yes, sir.
We'll make a motion that we just keep those that are there. I don't see the names, I'm trying to pull it up.
They're right here.
Slowly.
You want to make that as a part of your motion, Commissioner?
Yes, I'd like to make that part of the motion. It's Steve Carr, one of the current members, Clint Lauren, Julie Myers, and Betty Price.
Clint Norton is not a current member.
Current member, I'm sorry. I'll get it together here in a minute. Steve Carr, current member, Julie Myers, and Betty Price.
Second.
We have a second. All right, discussion. Any of those citizens here tonight? All right, would you care to address the board?
Hi, I'm Betty Price. I've been on board several years. I'm vice chair this time. We go through a lot of members. But I think we're trying to, with James, do a lot more this time. We've not had as many meetings, but we're getting there.
Okay.
And I appreciate it.
Are you happy with the 3 current members that you
Yes.
have now? Okay. All right, very good.
They come to the meetings.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Are we clear on the motion? Are we okay on the motion, Patrick? Okay. All right, very good. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We have another motion.
Make a motion to consider resolution 2017-130, appointments to the Lovington Senior Citizen Center Advisory Board.
Second.
We have a second. James.
Mayor and Commissioners, we have actually 4 individuals who've expressed interest. Shirley Choate, who's a current member, Joyce Drury, who's a current member, Henry Gutierrez, who is a current member, and then Thomas Griffin. I believe it was Fred Browning was a previous appointee, but no longer is interested in wanting to serve.
How many positions are available?
4, sir.
Okay. So the 4 that are submitted are...
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anybody there? Anybody from this board here present today? All right. Any discussion from the commission? All right. Without any further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Do we have another motion?
I make a motion to consider resolution 217-131, consent of assignment for Chevron Mid-Continent.
Second.
We have a second. James.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, we've received a several years ago, the city entered into a right-of-way agreement, I apologize, with Chevron, and where this is located at is actually to the southeast of town. It is not in the municipal well field. This is where the wastewater treatment plant is, and you can see our pivot farm. This is the country club area, but there is a tank battery here, and their pipeline actually goes through these city-owned parcels of land. What they're looking at doing is selling their interest to Slash Exploration, who is actually managed or operated by Armstrong Energy Corporation. I haven't found any records of violations by either party with OCD, but prior to them selling these, the sale agreement we're listed as having to consent the assignment. It's our recommendation that we do, with the exception of, there is a typo actually 2 typos on the resolution that's in the packet that we can easily fix. It's in the third whereas. It says negotiated Dale agreement. It should be sale agreement. And also in the last furthermore, this is outside of our water well field, so we could actually slash that last furthermore since it's not involving our water well field.
Okay. Very good. And your recommendation is to approve, correct?
Yes, sir, unless Patrick has any questions.
Mayor, Commissioners, I wouldn't have any reason not to, based on what James discovered.
All right.
Is that a berry line or is it a poly line? Is that berry?
It's
Pipeline or poly line? Oh, it is berry. Oh.
All right. Any questions about the commission?
Are we recompensed for them crossing through our lines?
I imagine we were provided, we'd have to go back and look at the agreement. This was...
Sorry, what was the question?
Is the city recompensed something for them crossing through our lines? Or is that a right of way or what that they have?
Well, it's an existing right of way that the initial grantee accepted and paid for on a per run basis. And so it's been paid for and put in for a number of years. It's just an assignment from, let's say, Company A to Company B, so they're settling in it. So there would not be a second round of compensation for it. But as far as I know, it doesn't interfere with operation of either one of the 2 farms, and you don't have any other information why that it's been any kind of issue. So
I appreciate you trying, though, Commissioner. All right. Any other discussion about the commission? All right. Seeing as there is no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Do we have another motion?
I make a motion that we consider accounts payable.
Second.
Second. All right. Gary.
Your mayor and commission, I'm excited to tell you that we now have a new in-code generated report, which of course gives us the same type information by vendor, detail, and then the totals. A couple of things to point out is that our single largest expense is on the first page, at $106,458 is for the completion of our public safety roof, and that came from the general fund. The second largest expense has to do with something we pay on a regular basis, which is basically page 6 of this report, and it's for $41,580. It's gross receipt, not gross receipt tax, wage withholdings that we have to pay the feds. And then our third largest expense is our auditors for $40,113.60. And then, of course, the fourth largest would be for our fuel, P&D Petroleum. One of the things I really enjoy about this report is as you scroll down, you'll notice that it has this little fund recap down at the bottom. So out of our total of $288,000 and whatever it is cents and total expenditures, $642.19. On this fund recap, you can see that $189,000 of those expenditures were charged against our general fund. And then the second largest fund to experience expenditures is our water fund, our water and wastewater fund of only $35,588. Of course, these vary based on commitments and needs at different times, and this roof of over $106,000 roof repair really skewed the expenditures in this particular pay period. But it's really nice to see this type of report and be able to tell you what the impact on our funds are at a glance. Do you have any other questions?
Well, for one, it seems like Encode really cleaned up the report summary, so it looks a lot better. So I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Questions from the commission? You guys okay with it? You guys all right with it? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, bills are
I
paid.
wasn't opposed, I was just leaving on the first.
Okay, all right. Motion carries. Do we have another motion?
One question, before we go into closed session.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the wells. How's our well monitoring going out there? I haven't heard nothing. We're doing pretty good out there. All our monitoring wells out there in our field. Do we have any? I know at one time we did. Do we have any or no?
We actually have, right around water well 17, they came in and drilled, I believe, 4 to 6 monitor wells. When we got those test results back, I believe it was 2011, everything came back clear. As far as some of the other reports, we haven't got no new information on them. I know Navajo has quite a few monitor wells that they do send the information, and we haven't had no detects on anything.
Okay, so we've been doing pretty positive. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right.
Mayor.
Yes.
Wanted to clarify one point in regards to the various boards and commissions with that Christmas social. We did post a notice of potential forum.
Okay, very good.
So the address of the event is there. So if members of the public show up, they are permitted entry into that, especially considering that these are all boards and commissions that are for the betterment of Lovington, and there potentially could be discussions there in regards to how we can move next. There won't be any decisions made, but just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Okay, very good. What about the topping ceremony scheduled for tomorrow?
That's
just come and go. I understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's been no notice filed as far as that topping ceremony.
I think there's enough of a time span where we can come and go as we please and show up there. So hopefully it won't be an issue. All right. Now do we have another motion?
I make that motion. We go into closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1 NMSA 1978, subsection H-8, regarding the purchase, acquisition, or disposition of real property or water rights, review of city commercial property leases, potential protest of water rights application, and potential purchase of property.
We have a second by Commissioner Gandy. Ms. Waters, roll call, please.
Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez? Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Mayor Thomas?
Yes. We will now go into closed session. Seems like we've been here for All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to return to regular session. The matters discussed in closed session were limited to only those specified in the motion for closure, and no action was taken.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Second, roll call please, Ms. Waters.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez? Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
And Mayor Campos?
Yes, we are back in open session now. Do we have another motion in open session?
I'd like to make a motion that we consider to terminate the lease agreement with Lee Community Foundation of the Arts and issue an RFP to operate and renovate the Lee Theater.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
We have a second by Commissioner Butcher. Any discussion by the commission?
I think this would be a wise move.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? James, anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, very good. Without any further discussion, we'll go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
Make a motion we adjourn this meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.